Yachts For Sale YouTube channel, opening a window into the world of yacht brokerage. And today we'll be looking at a yacht with a hidden storage compartment. I'll be using the expression "you would be amazed" on more than one occasion. And we'll also talk about what I believe is one of the most significant launches of 2023. Well, most yacht brokers get very excited at the prospect of selling huge super yachts worth tens of millions of dollars. But the truth is that for most brokers, the bread and butter of our business is the sale of production composite motor yachts in the 80 to 120 foot range. So it's really important for a broker to know the difference between one builder and another, especially since many of them actually really look quite similar. One manufacturer that you just can't mistake though is Arcadia. I recently filmed an Arcadia 85 called Motec, and as you can see they do look very different to just about anything else on the market, not just due to the very distinctive lines, but also for that extensive use of solar panels all over the superstructure. In last week's vlog I told you about the importance of product knowledge. This week I want to mention the importance of people knowledge, knowing the right people in the industry. That comes actually more and more time that you work in this particular industry. I actually worked years ago with two of the management team of Arcadia. We worked for the same group of companies. One of them, Francesco Frediani, I interview in that video of Motec, and the other one is called Francesco Anzalone. Now, I called Francesco just a couple of days ago because I really wanted to give you up-to-date and accurate information about that particular company. And I'm so glad that I made the telephone call because Francesco told me about a whole new project that they have called the Arcadia A96. Before I tell you about that particular yacht though, let me explain a little bit about how it fits in to their product range. The smallest yacht that they build is the Sherpa 60. It's a very unusual looking yacht. Here are a few fun facts. She has a length overall of 17.7 meters, so that's actually just over 58 feet. Her beam is 5.6 meters, so that's about 18 foot and 4 inches. And she has Volvo IPS 600 engine, so she'll reach a top speed of about 20 knots. I could practically write an entire vlog just about this yacht, actually. The hull design is called an NPL hull. That's because it was tested by the National Physical Laboratory in England to determine the very best ratio of the length to beam for the efficiency. I couldn't see any statistics relating to the range of the yacht, so if you'd like to know more about the range, do leave a message below and I'll ask the shipyard for an answer to that question. The reason for calling this model a Sherpa is particularly interesting. You think of Sherpas as people able to carry amazing amounts of equipment up mountains, and actually the storage capacity of the Arcadia is quite exceptional. Under that large aft deck there's a huge storage space with a height of 125 centimeters where you can put all sorts of water toys and launch them with a crane. There's also a larger Sherpa in the range as well. That's called the Sherpa 80XL. And that has a whole extra deck. It has more storage space, more staterooms, but still the concept is for an exceptional amount of storage space. If I was going to propose this particular model of yacht to a client, I think I'd be looking at clients who really use their yachts as a platform for water sports. They like to spend time in the ocean, they like to spend much more time outside on the deck or in the water rather than inside in the cabins, but also it would be somebody who appreciates the effort that Arcadia made to reduce fuel consumption, not just through that interesting hull design, but also through the use of solar panels. As a matter of fact, I read that the Sherpa 80, you can do all of the hotel load off of the solar panels alone. But the Sherpa is not the only model in Arcadia's lineup. They also produce the 85, and if you want to know about that model, I'll put a link to the Motec video at the end of this video. They also have in production a 105, and the first one I believe will be launched this year. They have a 115, and actually my colleague Ed Dickinson has just listed one of those for sale, so we'll be filming that in the south of France as soon as the weather allows. And that brings us to the new project, which is the 96. This is actually an Igor Lobanov design. He designed the incredible Jubilee that's now been renamed Chaos. He's one of the most exciting yacht designers on the scene right now. The 96 will be 29 metres long, so that's just over 95 feet, just under 8 metres at the beam, so that's just over 26 feet, and she'll be driven again by Volvo IPS drives, this time the IPS 1200 units, so we're looking at a top speed of about 24 knots. You can have 5 staterooms in the 96. And I have to say that the renderings of the interiors look rather attractive, and there'll be accommodation for 5 crew members too. I don't have any figures on the range of that model just yet, and I suspect that the shipyard may be reluctant to release them until they've actually got the first one launched and in the water. That first one is due to be launched and shown to the public at the Cannes Yachting Festival in September of this year. So if you want me to do a walkthrough of that yacht at the show, if Arcadia are happy for me to do that, do remind me about it. I'll make sure that I get that done and I can report back to you. With regards to that topic of range, I have noticed that when I do the walkthrough video of a yacht and I don't mention the range of the yacht, very often viewers will pick me up on that. They want to know the range. So I always ask the captain, because I want to give you information that's accurate and that's reliable right from the captain's mouth. You would be amazed at how often a captain responds to that question by looking at me with eyes like a deer caught in the headlights of a car, because they just don't know off the top of their head what the maximum range of the yacht is. They'll often call the chief engineer, who will then talk about fuel burn and get a calculator out. And I end up saying to them very often, look, really all I'm asking is, what's the most economic, comfortable speed for the yacht, and how far could you go at the maximum at that speed? Then they get calculators out and they tell me. Now, I've reflected about this quite a lot, because I have to say that the vast majority of captains that I work with are highly professional individuals. They are responsible for a multi-million-dollar asset. They really know their stuff. So why is it that I often get that response from them? Well, I think I'm asking a question that reflects an opinion that doesn't coincide with the way that a yacht is really used. What I mean by that is it's not that often that a yacht will cross the Atlantic, for example. It might do it at the most twice a year. More often, a yacht is being used to go out from the port, play in the water, and come back to the same port. They might drop anchor for a couple of nights, or they might slowly go from one island in Croatia or the Bahamas to another island, or slowly make their way up the coast. Very seldom does a captain have to think that he's going to use the whole tank of fuel. He'll always be keeping his eye on the fuel burn, keeping his eye on the tank levels, and he'll keep topping it up. It's not like me in my car on the highway. I'm one of those people that hates stopping for fuel, so I'll always wait until we're running on vapors practically before I actually stop to put more petrol or more diesel into the car. That's not how a yacht is run, and I think for that reason captains are often a little bit bewildered by the question of the maximum range. If there's any captains watching this video, and I suspect there's a few, I'd be really interested in your comments on that, whether you think my observation is a fair one. Back to the subject of Arcadia and the subject of yacht brokerage, and one of the important jobs for a yacht broker is to respond to inquiries quickly and with good, accurate information. You would be amazed at how difficult that sometimes is. For example, if a buyer talks to me or one of my colleagues and says, look, I'd like to get 150-foot yachts, don't really want to go over 8 million, what's out there? And so then the broker will start to look at what's on the market, and that means contacting other yacht brokerage companies who have those specific yachts for sale. Thankfully, 95% of yacht brokerages play the game very well. They understand that it's better to share the commission and sell the yacht rather than to keep it for themselves. But there are a small amount of brokers, there's one brokerage company in particular that's really well known for this, that hold on to the information in the hope that that client will contact them. Fed up of waiting, they'll contact them directly and they'll get the direct sale. Now that's the exception to the rule, thankfully, but it does sometimes happen. Also with yacht builders, it's incredible. I know clients who've written directly to yacht builders and never get an answer. Brokers who write to yacht builders never get an answer. I remember once getting an answer 6 months after I made the inquiry, which is not acceptable. The reason I'm saying that is because I want to give a big and sincere shout out to Francesco Frediani, who's the Chief Commercial Officer of Arcadia. He worked for another large yacht builder for many years, and both with that company and with the company he's at now, he's one of the CCOs that responds more quickly, more accurately than any other one I've ever dealt with. And I mention that because I feel that if a qualified buyer is watching this video and they say, hey, I should drop a message to David and find out when the next 85, when the next 96 is available and what the prices are and what I need to do to look at one, I know that I can email Francesco, I could telephone Francesco, and if he possibly can, he'll get right back to me. I can give a good, accurate information within 24 hours of receiving an inquiry. And that's, for me, that makes Arcadia a really cool company to work with, not just because they have a very unique product, but also because they're good people and they will always be efficient in their response time. So a lot of yacht brokerage work is actually behind a computer, researching, sending emails, responding to inquiries, but there's also the fun part of the job with a lot of parties and events that we're invited to attend. And last night I was invited to a cocktail party at the Ocean Co offices in Monaco, where they basically put on a few drinks, a few snacks. It was fantastic. And then they did a presentation of some great projects that they've got on the way, as well as presenting last week's launch of this incredible yacht called Project 1050H. This is actually a rebuild of an older yacht. The hull is 105 meters long. She's been completely rebuilt with new engines, new interiors, even a whole new superstructure designed by Raymond Langton. I think it's the first time that a project quite like this has ever been completed. The results are amazing. Now it seems that the larger the yacht, the greater the level of confidentiality surrounding that yacht. That's why I'm always very cautious about what I say publicly. I never name the names of yacht owners unless I'm given explicit permission to do so, and that practically never happens. I always do my utmost to respect the wishes surrounding confidentiality of a yacht builder. At the end of the day, they're very important business contacts for me. I'm happy that I have a great relationship with the people at Ocean Co. As a matter of fact, I do know that the CEO and some of the management team watch this YouTube channel quite often. I'm very hopeful that you as a viewer will be able to benefit from that relationship that I have. From time to time I talk with them about doing some sort of a collaboration within the confines of what they're allowed to do, within the confines of confidentiality, and we reignited a conversation about that briefly yesterday. So I'm hopeful that in 2023 I'll be able to bring you some very unique and interesting content about that particular builder. To be the first to know about any developments like that, do sign up to the Inside Info newsletter. I've put a link to that in the description below. I'm actually hoping to write the next one tomorrow. I fly to Miami tomorrow and I'm thinking I may be able to write the newsletter on the plane, but certainly I'm hoping to send out the next one next week. I'll also be telling you in that newsletter details of a shipyard in the United States that I'm hopefully going to film. If you think you know what that might be, leave a comment below, and remember not to smash the like button on this video, but carefully press it. You ready for this, Slava? Carefully press it there. Did you get that? This time as well, see if you can do a different color of the like button, do some special effect.
I'll do my best.
Great, that's it. I'm going to get lunch.